I used to live in Los Feliz. It's like the most liberal, elite-y kind of. It's not rich at all. It's not like a Beverly Hills or anything, but it's sort of just like there's a diverse, fairly diverse, but mostly liberal little part of Los Angeles, and it's super high functioning in terms of just like a nice place to live, where everything seems to work, and there's not a lot of crime. The people are very friendly to each other. It's very functional. Like you'd want to live like anybody from Flyover Man would feel very comfortable living there, but it's full of gay people that are raising kids and full of alternative lifestyle type people. But it just feels like you could look at that community there and say, well, that's working pretty well. But they do have money. They have more money than
that's what makes social cohesion possible.
Yeah,
is people not being stability. On the knife side, it's having stability.
Right.
Exactly.
No, but I just like I like the idea that there's some hidden hypocrisy here.
Yeah.
So my retort to you about China. Okay, China is replacing us, and my retort here is I'm happy to talk about these big problems.
Yeah, like hell you are. The media fixates on scandals because they're easier to talk about than complex issues like why urban and rural America are drifting further apart. You wasted billions of hours speculating about the Mueller report, and now news about Adam Schiff overshadows everything else while my world burns. Let's face it, bashing Trump is the media's business model. That's what drives eyeballs and profit.
Does Urban Guy work in the media? Like, this is like yelling at the TV.
Right.
Well, also, Flyover Man began this by saying, or like one of his second comebacks was like, look, I don't have one of these jobs that allows me to check Twitter all day.
Right.
I do have one of the jobs that allows me to watch television all day and know about Adam Schiff and the Mueller report and how actually give a kind of astute media analysis about the economic incentives driving the news model and
Yeah, and also what's so fraudulent about this is in a time when you have so many options for how you receive information and consume, like if you just were a person that put on CNN every night, it would seem super hyper focused on a very narrow issue, which it is every night. It's those dopes, Cuomo and Don Lemon, who are like insufferable fools, like talking about the micro scandals. There's room for that for sure, but this guy, if he's interested in all, there's so many different ways to learn about what's going on.
The only way to make a way that I think would really help people make sense of a lot of this stuff and avoid a lot of the confusion that's in this piece is if people who watched a lot of TV, a lot of cable news at home, like not people who watched it at an airport or waiting at the doctor's office, people who sat down and watched it. They should be treated like a weird subculture, like furries or something.
Right.
Like they're weirdos,
and they're not. There's not a lot of them, right?
No, there's not that many.
The ratings, that's like those programs
out of a country of 300 some million people. Like the best one's Fox, and you're still topping out like in the 1 or 2 million viewers for one of these shows. No, you combine the rest of them, it's not that much more than that.
Right.
It's a small group of freaks,
right?
And like the idea that in discourse is in any way reflective of any greater trends is crazy.
But Brooks is in that small group.
He is, of course,
so
yes.
That's how he's reacting.
He's in those fucking green rooms, just eating like the little Bischoff fucking cookies you get in the airport, airplane all day.
Yeah, they had chips in there too.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Urban Guy's reply here: we can't have a productive conversation with Trump around. He lies with abandon. He slanders and insults. He pollutes the water near and far.
He's the bad guy from Captain Planet. He's that Fern Gully smog monster.
Well, we can't have productive conversations if every time I open my mouth you call me a bigot. You may not realize this, but you have Trump supporters around you all the time. It's just that we've learned to keep our mouths shut in your presence. The crushing climate of blue cultural privilege is too strangulating. It's too strangulating.
I jack off while being strangulated by blue cultural privilege.
That's that hypocrisy we're talking about. In practice, don't preach it. Yeah, again, like the idea here. First of all, Urban Guy is not called Flyover Man a bigot yet, but he's going with that. And he's saying, like, you have Trump supporters around you all the time. And we've just learned to, like, be quiet. Has an eerie echo with, like, they're trying to make being a Trump voter like what being gay was like in the 1950s or something.
Right. Yeah.
Where it's just like, like if you're among your boys and you're doing jokes about, like, you never know, one of them might just be a Trump voter.
Yeah. I read it a slightly different way. I think it's a veiled threat to say, walking among you even in your liberal enclaves
are Trump supporters. You never know. One day we're all going to put on the MAGA hat at once and stab you.
Sweet relief.
Okay, I get it. You're not the first person to spin the right-wing victim narrative in front of me. My freaking wife does that all the time. Okay, you're not the first person to spin the right-wing victim narrative in front of me. Why don't we focus on impeachment, on rule of law?
Fine. Bottom line, I would be open to impeachment if you cared about my problems. I'd be open if all these silent Republican dissenters in the Senate had given me some GOP alternative candidate who speaks our language and addresses our issues. I'd be open if there was a moderate Democratic Party that I thought deserved a shot. But I only see Democrats who make everything worse. Open the border, socialism, more power to Washington. You could have paid attention to the forces driving Trumpism, but you ignored us. So please, don't ask us to sign up for our own obliteration or support your impeachment. This is about identity and pride. Here's a confession. I used to think Trump was a jerk. Now, after 3 years of battle, I see him as my captain. He deserves my loyalty, thick and thin. See you in hell, brother. Wow. I did not see that turn.
Yeah, no. Is that when he detonates his suicide vest?
Yeah.
It's like right after that, it should have been like, fly over man, your mocha latte and bagel sandwich are ready? Anyone? Yeah.
Yeah, your Cinnabon is all hot for you. Boy, what a dark turn. It feels like he just kind of ran out of steam on that one, right? Like, I got to wrap this up. This was fun, but I was almost getting somewhere.
He gets all bitter, and he's like, well, you were out partying. I was making America great again. And now, when the flames are at your door, you come begging for my help.
We figured this out like in the many times we've read David Brooks on this show. Like we figured it out by this point. Like the way to understand every David Brooks column is that they're all about himself.
Yes,
right.
They're like so. Flyover Man and Urban Guy are both David Brooks. This is like these are forces inside himself that he's giving voice to.
Smeagol and Gollum,
right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, when I watch him almost every week on the PBS NewsHour, him and the other guy. Brooks and
Mark Shields.
Mark Shields. Yeah. And I like watching those two guys. But he does seem totally painfully conflicted about his own perspective on the world.
Yeah.
He feels shame, and like his columns are a way of coping with that shame and sort of displacing it onto like I guess the urban half of him or the condescending part of himself. But the thing is, like what's disingenuous about this is that he says it like this is based on interactions that I've had with Trump supporters in like Missouri. And it's like, no, it's not. This is just interactions you've had with your friends who also support Donald Trump.
The beauty of being a New York Times opinion guy is that you never have to talk to any other person your entire life.
Right.
And still have opinions about what they think. It's great.
Sure. Yeah, he's not talking to anybody at the car dealership.
Or at the, as he one time said, Applebee's salad bar, a thing that does not exist.
Nice.
No, he said that during the Obama campaign. He said, I don't think Obama would be someone comfortable at an Applebee's salad bar.
No, apparently you wouldn't be either.
Yeah, you'd be wandering around asking them for it, and they'd be like, it's out back, weirdo.
But like the tells that this has nothing to do with like the actual the people who show up and stand in 90-degree heat for hours to wear the hat and just see Donald Trump. Like the article we did about the bikers for Trump, and the people who just follow him around like the Grateful Dead, like a woman who drove from Connecticut to see him in St. Louis because she's like, where else am I going to get the real news from? I have to hear it directly from the president.
Yeah.
The tells are like, Matt, you identified this early along where he's just like, the Ukraine call, that's not even in the top 25 most awful things you've ever done. And it's like that list, like they all think those things are good.
Yeah.
Right.
They don't think he's ever done anything wrong because, look, it makes the people they don't like mad. By definition, it was good.
Up to and including like all of his like ludicrous infidelities.
Yeah.
And, like open.
That's cool. That's boss. That's baller. He's a pimp.
In the same way that I would love to see my own work from the perspective of that woman who hated the movie so badly, just to experience that. I would like to feel that for Trump, to feel that feeling of being like, hey man, and nobody's perfect, but he's my guy, and I think he's kind of cool. imagine having that feeling about what you see there.
He's low-key nutty with it.
No, you're right. I would like to like a sort of a being John Malkovich thing where I could experience for like a day.
Right.
Eventually, they'll create these like empathy pills, and you can like go, "I'll like Trump supporter," and just pop.
Speaking of pills, what do you make of that story about the Sudafed? Did you guys see that?
Oh,
I did see that.
Yeah.
The UK Sudafed in his
It would
drawer.
explain a lot. But like what I love about that story is that like if it's true, it's so perfectly Trump because that is the lamest upper to get
Right.
addicted
It's
to.
exactly-
Like,
And once again, it's like
Right.
he's president of the United States, most powerful man in the world, and he's doing incredibly hilariously low-key piddling crimes all over the world. Like, hey, you guys want to stay in my hotel in fucking Zagreb?
Yeah.
So I could like
Free rooms.
like make another $1,500. Same way, it's like this guy, even he's certainly rich and connected enough. He could get any drug,
Sure.
get the finest Bolivian flake cocaine. He could get fucking like Chinese research chemicals.
Yeah.
No, I'll take the Sudafed.
Yeah.
I'll just pop Sudafed while drinking Diet Coke.
Yeah, no, I have a guy who gets it for
$500
me.
million.
Believe me, he's one of the greats.
He gets
it's
like
CVS.
the hookup. His plug shows up with a fucking Dwayne Reed bag.
Yeah.
his plug shows up with
Yeah.
one of those fucking receipts that are like
Yeah.
the original On the Road manuscript. Just like
Here you go, Mr. Trump. Your receipt's here. No, what are you doing with the receipt? Get it out of here. Burning the receipt.
put it through the shredder.
Mix it up. Go to CVS next time. Guys.
No, I mean like it is perfect because like he was the guy who was at like the height of New York City wealth in like the 1980s.
In the 80s, baby.
And instead of that like rainbow fish scale, he was just like more cough medicine. I need it.
Right.
It keeps me up.
Well, that was always
to do deals.
The thing on him that I think Robert De Niro said somewhere, at a party or maybe it was Jack Nicholson. I think I heard this not in the press. Like somebody that heard this from Jack Nicholson was like, in the 80s, Trump was like the guy that you kind of felt bad for because he was like so lame and like not cool, not a fun hang.
Oh no, pathetic.
He's kind of a clown. You're like, he's here. Look at who's here. Ronald McDonald's here.
No, he's the ultimate tryhard.
Yeah.
He was the kid who people hung out with because they had a pool.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And now he's got 100 million rabid fans who would love to hang out with him.
So
Would
does
love
Kiss.
to play beer pong with him. Yeah.
No, but don't talk to me about Ukraine. Don't talk to me about Sudafed.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to hear it. He's our guy. He said he's my captain.
He's my
He's captain of the team.
Hey, go down with the ship.
There you go. All right. Well, Tim Heidecker, I want to thank you so much for talking to us. The
Thanks for having me on,
movie
boys.
is Mr. America. When's that dropping?
Well, when does this come out?
Probably this midweek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it came out everywhere last night, but it'll be on demand and it'll be playing in New York and LA for a little bit, and we'll see. It'll be on. You can rent it on TV as they do now.
You got the TiVo.
Yeah,
The only way to watch it.
yeah.
I can stop and I can go get a drink, come back, it's still there.
But it's
And
not a
then
TV
it's
movie.
get boring,
so
I
who
go
knows?
bleep, bleep, bleep.
Yeah.
And check out Mr. America and experience its dreary.
If you can see it in the
laugh-free
theater,
charms. Yeah.
if you can see it in the theater, please.
Please resist the urge that you will get to either shoot up a nightclub
Right.
or scam a bunch of Instagrammers with a fake
Onto an
music
island.
festival. Either just don't do either of those things. You're going to want to after
we
you
should
see the
not be
movie.
mocking those situations.